A group of House Republicans over the weekend reached a deal for a one-month government funding bill to prevent a shutdown. Government funding is currently set to run out at the end of September. If a spending package is not passed by that date, the government will shut down. A number of Republicans in the House say they won't vote, though, for the proposed measure. CBS News congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane joins me now to untangle this spaghetti. Scott, a deal over the weekend among Republicans. Okay, the Republicans have a deal. What are they trying to solve, though, in this deal? Because it's between Republicans and Republicans.
One of them said the quiet part out loud late today, John. He said invariably there's going to be a shutdown. This is one of the authors of this bill released last night, says there's going to be a shutdown. What they've come up with is a 1 month bill, a 1 month spending bill to fund the federal government, to get Washington, D.C. and America from October 1st through Halloween. It makes some cuts in some programs. It reduces spending by quite a bit in some federal agencies. It keeps veterans programs in the military immune from cuts. It would also include a very controversial House-passed border bill, which would ramp up certain amounts of spending on border agents, a border wall, some immigration policies that just won't get the support of Democrats. In addition to that, doesn't include the aid for Ukraine. It's unclear how much disaster relief money it includes, as a lot of America is trying to recover from summer floods, storms, and wildfires. That's the bill they have on the table. It is a meeting of the minds of the farther right House Freedom Caucus, some of those members, and some of the moderates who are loyal to House Speaker Kevin McCarthy. But John, we're talking to so many people who say they're a no on this bill. Democrats say it universally, and I'm hearing from House Republicans who say they're not getting behind it either because they say it doesn't defund Jack Smith. It doesn't cut enough of federal spending. And one anecdote that I think is quite telling, John, is a Florida congresswoman named Anna Paulina Luna, who just a few days ago gave birth and suffered a 4-day severe fever and infection and is under treatment right now. Her staffers tell me she will get on a plane and fly back here to Washington, D.C. to vote no if she has to. She's a Freedom Caucus member. Her fellow Freedom Caucus members wrote this bill. It's headed nowhere.
So just to remind, what's headed nowhere is the thing that is the deal between the two sides. So it's a deal that goes nowhere. So is there a deal that could go anywhere? And again, we're just talking about among the Republicans in the House. That doesn't deal with the Democrats who control things in the Senate. But is there anything that can get agreement among House Republicans?
There possibly is something the Republicans could get behind, but they'd have to sweeten that deal. They'd have to make some adjustments to it, plus something up, subtract something. That's going to take time. And there are only 12 days till the deadline. But you've captured the essence of this issue. That only solves one part of the problem. If Republicans can finally pass something through the House, none of it's going to fly in the Senate, which is controlled by Democrats, which leaves this very striking reality that Speaker Kevin McCarthy is going to have to get Democrats to support something he pushes through to keep the lights on, to keep the government open, or to reopen it after a shutdown. Either senators will have to get on board, or some of the House Democrats will, or the White House will. And no matter which path he takes to get Democratic support, it's going to endanger his position as House Speaker. There are already restive members of his conference who say he's done too much outreach to Democrats, hasn't been loyal enough to his party when he cut that debt ceiling deal earlier this year, and they are wanting of his job if he does it again. That's the reality with 2 weeks to go.
So what is McCarthy going to do? It's not a healthy thing for a Republican leader to have to go get Democratic votes, and yet that's the position he's been put in because otherwise the government shuts down. Does he have any leverage in this drama? And if so, where does he exercise it?
He has some leverage, but about that previous issue, has he done outreach to Democrats? I asked him that very question late today. Have you reached out to the Democratic leader for help? And he told me that he talks to the Democratic leader regularly. It's part of his job. But at this point, he's talking to Republicans about getting behind this bill. What's clear is that if Republicans can muster the support to pass something, they think they have more leverage to go back to the Senate or back to the White House and try to get a deal more of their liking at the end of the day. What leverage does Kevin McCarthy has? Well, 2 pieces at least. That one piece, maybe they pass something out of the House and have a little negotiating power with Democrats. The second piece of leverage is the same piece he's wielded ever since since January 3rd. There is no alternative to him right now. There's no would-be successor. There's nobody who can immediately replace him as House Speaker. He won on 15 votes because nobody else surfaced as a challenger of relevance. Same is true today. That's the leverage he wields.
The old-fashioned adage, you can't beat something with nothing. Scott MacFarlane, thanks for being with us.
Thank you.